Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of our program. We have 3 speakers on tap. The first one was a guest who's kind enough to drop in and speak. Please welcome decorated United States of America from the President of the United States. Native of Kingston, Jamaica, a proud American candidate for Miami Gardens Mayor, human trafficking activist extraordinaire, nationally recognized.
Hello everyone, hello. Again, my name is Laverne Deere, and so I have been out at the library in the hot sun working and fighting, but when Fred called, move. And so he called, and so here I am. So I'm thankful to be here, and I know I only have a few minutes, and I want to just address human trafficking. Basically, for those who, let's not assume what human trafficking is, it's basically stealing someone's freedom for a profit, and so through force or coercion. So I just want everyone to know and to be aware that human trafficking is real. Just recently, right here in the city of Miami Gardens, which is my home city, it was on the news that several homes in this city was being utilized through human trafficking, where someone from Colombia was promised that they will come and get a job here, and upon arrival, their documents were taken from them, and then they became as slaves to human trafficking. So, you know, for those who may think that this is not real, it is real. We also have a stadium in this city, and sports breed these type of activities. So I want us to all be aware. In the last Super Bowl that was right here at the stadium, there were several cases of human trafficking that was reported right here in the city of Miami Gardens. So once again, we see that these activities continues to happen. So rather than me just talking about it, I also took action. And I advocated to make Florida the first state to teach human trafficking education in schools. How did I do that? Thank you. Took many nights driving to Tallahassee to meet with legislators, to attend committee meetings. Took many times to meet with the various municipalities to educate the elected officials on human trafficking, raising awareness several years ago, because they are the ones who have the power to impact laws. They are the ones who have power to impact ordinances, to protect and to ensure that the businesses are not operating these type of activities. So again, and not just me, I didn't do it by myself. I had many advocates. Dr. Amfa, she's not here today, but I want to give a shout out to her because I know that she also lives in the field, right? And so also working with someone like Dr. Bendros Mendengal, who also worked with me and reached out to the Department of Education. And so was the senators and the House representative. Last year, I was recognized at the state capitol by Senator Chevron Jones, as well as House Representative Felicia Robinson, because of the work that I do here in human trafficking. So thank you so much. So you asked, when Fred mentioned that I am running for office. Well, I'm running for office because I understand that elected officials have the power to bring change in their community. Just like I took the step to educate our children, educate our legislators, I am looking to do the same. And so I am running for mayor of Miami Gardens. But most importantly, for the educators that are here, I want you to know that the curriculums in schools require for you to teach human trafficking. And each year, according to the Department of Education, which last year they sent me the report card, so I saw the report card of how the schools were doing. And I must tell you, if any of you work in Dade County Public Schools, Dade County is doing really good. Doing very good educating our children. So just continue to know, to recognize the sign. If you see a child coming to school and they look like they have been up all night when they should be alert and aware, if you see a child coming to school and you know that their parents cannot afford certain jewelry, certain clothing, certain things that they have, these are little signs that you who have these children in your sight can look out for. Reach out to the guidance counselor. Have a conversation. let's just not assume that they are just out there. Know that it's possible that someone is trafficking that child. And a lot of times you are the ones who can make a difference. I also serve on the board of Southeastern College of Nursing. Why? Because I believe that these victims also go into the hospital seeking services. So my goal is to educate those nursing students so they themselves, when these victims comes into the hospital, they can recognize it, and they may also be the one to rescue these victims. And so the last point that I am going to leave with you, if you see something, say something. 888-378-8888. Please do not just assume, okay? And if you see someone or believe someone is being trafficked, do not approach that person, because you could be putting yourself in danger and putting that person's life in danger as well. All right? It's going to take each one of us to make a difference, and it is through awareness. I also created a program called the PLAY program, providing leadership through awareness. And I did that to teach children between the ages of 11 and 17. I'm sorry, between 8 and 17. Because as young as 8, even younger, these children can become victims of human trafficking. And I was very pleased that the Broward Sheriff's Office was able to fund that very first program that I did. And about 2 months ago, about 2 weeks ago, I was at an event, and one of the teachers said to me, one of her students came up and said, you know, I was at this program and someone was telling us about children around the world that are being trafficked. Well, you know what? I was proud, because that was the program that I implemented, right? So not only did I work with the schools, I also went into the community and worked with our community children as well. And for all of you in here who are advocates yourself, you play a role in this. And I truly believe that together we can make a difference. I work in government, and I see every day through substance abuse, okay? This is the work that I do every day, where I see individuals come in that is struggling from drugs and alcohol. And most of the times whenever some of these individuals pass away through an overdose, those medical examiners' report comes to my desk. And when I research and see where the trauma of these individuals have experienced, I see where their substance abuse begins, and it begins through their trauma in life. So you have a lot of people who are using substance to drown out these trauma that they're experiencing. So let's not take this for granted. We have to be able to save our children. And in order for us to do that, we have to continue to raise awareness. So I thank you all so much, Fred. I thank you. Continue to do what Impact is doing for each of you. Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah.
When you say that there was a lot of child trafficking happening at the stadium, can you explain that a little bit more? Like, how does that happen? Like, how can you tell? You see a child with an adult that doesn't seem to match, or like, what do we look for? Like, what does that scenario look like?
Well, what happened was, I didn't say it happened exactly at the stadium. What I stated that sporting events breed those type of activities, right? So in the state, the Super Bowl that was held here, I believe it was either 54 or 55, there was reported cases of human trafficking around that event. So what you find, and the youngest, I believe, was age 17. Right? And what happened is, you have these perpetrators, they bring these children, young girls out of state, and they bring them to these parties. And so you have people now who attend these parties. And through these parties now, these young girls are trafficked, right? And sometimes they're drugged. Right? And so what happened, and you know, I'm sure you guys watch the news with the Diddy case and with that suspected trafficking, and you see the Jeffrey Epstein story of trafficking, where you you have these high-profile individuals travel around the world to come to these high-end parties, and then these young girls are there, and that this is what happens. Okay, so these are the things when I stated that certain activities and certain people in power, they know and understand what is going on. And then when you have these, you know, you have the buyers. So you can't just say it's the perpetrators, but you also have the buyers who are going out there and paying money for these type of activities. So it's a full circle, right, that we have to be aware of. And I've gone through myself a conference, and someone came up to speak. And what he stated was, they did a survey, and a lot of these buyers are married men with children. Are married men with children. So think about that, right? So when we see these things, you know, we can't just say, okay, maybe it's a certain demographics that's doing that, or maybe it's a runaway child, or it's a child who was wild and is bad. No, this is an organized crime that is stealing the freedom and the lives of our children and families. Any more questions? I know I don't have a lot of time. Thank you, Fred, again. I'm a resident of Mountain Garden.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 more speakers before the program ends.
Thank you all so much.
First, allow me to bring up,
Thank you.
I would love to show you the video, but I don't know if we can get it on TV today. Maybe we can, if Iggy could help me. YouTube. Yeah. Give me about, well, we're going to let her speak and then we're going to close with this, okay? We're not going to film this because we don't have the rights to it. Lamont, I'm sure, wouldn't sue me, but still. Don't need to ask Susan when she's done. Okay, please welcome, without further ado, the incomparable, the great.
We love your introduction.
All right, so we'll redo it again. We're live, by the way. Please welcome, without further ado, back to the Hamlet for her 3rd time. No, actually 4th time, I'm sorry. I met this lady, let me tell the story. I met this lady in 2019. I've been reading on Facebook about this lady who goes on the street and takes bullets. And I'm like, I gotta meet this lady. I got to meet this lady. So, lo and behold, I did a couple months later at a meeting. I was at an event, a rally in Fort Lauderdale. There she was on the stage. I had to go home. Couldn't even shake her hand and say, Miss Bullets, I'm Fred. I'd like to work with you. Met her at another meeting 2 weeks later. And then she had to do something for the mothers. And I asked her to come out here. And she, along with our dear friends Lisa Cheryl Bush and Tracy Brown, who couldn't be here today, spoke powerfully on gun violence to this very room in 2019, October 2019. This is our 5th time doing this. One time we did the workshop, wasn't so hot. She was like, oh, I'll never again, because they were not nice to her. But now they were last time. She had a positive experience. If you guys have any questions on how to do bracelets or anything, please go to her afterwards. She's here. Please welcome the incomparable, the lady who says donate a bullet, save a life, the great Susan Kennedy Nanton, Susan Bullets in the house.
I just came for this introduction. I said I can go now. I just came for Fred's introduction. Thank you, Fred, for having us for 5 years. We're 5 years strong, right? First of all, I just want to honor you, right? I want to honor you for the impact you have made amongst all of us, right?
Yes.
There's nobody like you. You're unique, you're different, and we love you. And we are grateful and we appreciate you. So we want you to stand up as we honor you, Fred.
Awesome.
Thank you. Which one is that? Talk to it. Oh, that's a beautiful. Later. We'll talk about it later. Thank you. Yeah. Later. Yeah. So yes. So I am Susan. Like he said, I am Fred. Thank you for Laverne. Thank you. So listen, Laverne has been in this fight for years too. This is not her first fight. This is not her last fight. She do not give up. I've seen you fight, and I want to wish you love and blessing.
Yes.
Because you're in this for real boots on the ground, right? Even when you're not running, you boots on the ground. Don't give up. Okay?
And I got my bracelet.
Yes, definitely. Yes, so thank you, Fred. So yes, like he said, my name is Susan Kennedy Nanton. I just went to Nanton too. It's gonna be 2 years in a couple of weeks because I just got married like 2 years. It's gonna be 2 years next week. So, but I'm still Susan Kennedy Bullets, right? I'm the founder of Bullets for Life. I started it in 2016 when a 6-year-old King Carter was killed, which is Tawana's godson or nephew, great nephew, right? So I started this when he was killed. He was only 6 years old, and a stray bullet hit him, and God called me to action. A lot of us sit back and watch television and say, I'll pray for you, they're my thoughts. But this baby activated so much in me, and with our children dying, I don't know how we can even sit back and just watch and say, I'm gonna pray for you. We're all called for a reason. We all have a purpose. We all in this fight together. And when a child is killed, guess what? We're all responsible, right? Because the kids is not going and buy guns. We're putting guns in the community, or we're putting guns in the homes. Our kids are dying one bullet at a time, right? So when I started it, when God called me to start it, he said, you're going to go take bullets off the street. I'm like, God, take what off the street? Bullets. I'm like, but I've never played with guns. My mom raised us not to ever play with guns. I have 3 sons, a 30-year-old, a 25-year-old, and a 20-year-old. Never in their life they ever touched toy guns. You know why? Because kids don't know the difference as they get older. And then what happens to our children when they don't know the difference? They pick up a gun from home, maybe they find a dad gun, or they find a gun in the car, they decided they're going to play with it because they don't know the difference, and they're killing each other, right? Like you just had, right? Because that's how you raise. They don't know better. So that's how I was raised. It was like, okay, God, I've never touched guns. My kids is like, Mom, we don't even play with guns, and you want to collect what? Bullets, right? So since then, I've collected over 20,000 bullets and counting. It has not been easy. That's why it's called Donate a Bullet, Save a Life. Because every bullet that you give to me, it's a life saved and not a life taken, right? Right? You're taking a bullet off the street. That's a bullet that will never be used. Because I guarantee, that's why it's called Susan Bullets. That's why they call me Susan Bullets. Because once you give me those bullets, it belongs to me. And it will never be used to kill nobody. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to destroy it and turn it into something beautiful. So that's why we have the bulletproof accessories, and where the bullet comes out, we destroy the bullet, the gunpowder comes out. The gunpowder is being replaced by a Bible verse because we want to keep God in the center of it. So first of all, God, forgive me for not giving you glory and honor in this moment. Thank you, Father God. So as the gunpowder comes out, it's being replaced with a Bible verse, right? Not only that, we also do workshops with our kids. We just did over 300 kids just alone last week. 2 weeks ago, we did about 200 with King Carter Foundation, and we did another 100 with another organization where we're teaching our kids that their life is worth more than a bullet, right? So imagine somebody give us a box of bullets, and then I take the bullet and show the kids these are live bullets. These are bullets that could take a life, but what you're about to do, you're about to destroy it, take it apart, so now that you're saving a life instead of taking a life. Because how many times you look at the news and we hear, this person took a life. We look at the news every day. The news is sad. We just lost a 3-year-old. We're losing a 2-year-old. We're losing 1 year. We're losing 10 months. Or we're losing our kids. How many times you look at the news and see that? But you will never see a child say, I save a life today. So that's what the movement is now. The kids are saying, I save a life from a bullet. Because I'm teaching them how to take something that could have possibly taken their life and repurpose it. That's how you get into their mindset. So they're walking away saying, I saved a life today. Because you know why? Because my life is worth more than a bullet. Our kids' life is worth more than a bullet.
Yes, yes.
We cannot, and that's, I'm saying, we're responsible until we realize that, and we take accountability for our kids dying by bullets. It's never going to stop. Because it's, you want to be a person, sorry.
Also, if you think about it, it's not just destroying one life, it's destroying many. It's destroying the person that died from the bullet, it's also destroying their family, and it's destroying the life of the person who actually took a life.
It's
a trickle down effect.
It's a circle of pain. It's a circle of brokenness, right?
Exactly, yes.
Because it affects everyone, right? Because when somebody died by a bullet, it's not just the person. The person is gone. The person is gone to rest, but it's a family that's left behind.
Right, exactly.
We have it's called the co-victims that we don't even talk about. The grandmother, the aunties, the uncles, the best friends of that child. Everybody's affected by that. I mean, not just the mom, but it's a whole that will never be filled. And the only way that can possibly feel, well, I know for sure, is God. Right? It's God. It's God. So lately, if you guys know me, everybody that knows me, I've been running around for years, running here, running there, like a chicken off with no head, just running places because I truly believe in my passion. But in this season, you guys, I have stopped and be still. I'm calm because I don't want to be all over the place. I go where God wants me to be. I go where I'm valued. I go where I'm poured into, because this organization can't work on empty no more, right? So we've been pushing and pushing and pushing. I'm telling you guys right now, if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing and nothing is being poured back into you, you're going to walk away on empty, and there's nothing you can do for anybody when you're on empty, right? Especially for the boots on the ground people. Take what I'm saying. I've been that person on that street, y'all. Right? And like for healthcare, I've been out with no healthcare doing this. When I lost my job at Nordstrom, I was a personal stylist at Nordstrom for over 20 years, $1 million seller. And when God called me to this, I had no insurance. Just the other day, I did a march in not Liberty City in Fort Lauderdale. And when I'm walking, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I got up to walk, and it was so hot outside that I passed out. Like almost passed out, and completely passed out. My blood pressure was so low. And they were like, you have to go in the hospital. I'm like, I can't go. I don't have money to pay for my bills. I can't go to the hospital. You're going to die. My blood pressure's never been so low. Like I was dropping to the ground after that walk. And I was like, I don't want to go. I keep fighting with them. It's like, you have to go. If you don't go, we're going to be responsible if you go home and you die. So people like me, who are on the streets here doing the work, that don't have health insurance, that's a problem. Who's looking out for us? You know what I mean? That's really out here doing the work, right? So that's another thing that I want to talk to you guys. I'm so happy Fred does what he does, because people like us that can't afford the insurance because we don't make money with the work that we do, and they're not looking at us. They're not looking at the people that's really advocating on the boots on the ground, that don't have a regular paycheck, that don't have, we don't have insurance. So what are we going to do when we pass out here?
Expand Medicaid.
Yes.
Right? Expand Medicaid, right? So I just wanted to bring that up too, since that's part of the conversation, right? So that's what I do. Bullets off the street, turn bullets into accessories. Right now we're doing a workshop called the No Bullet Zone Workshop. You guys pray for me, because I'm really trying to get contracts in school, Tawana. I'm trying to get principal. I'm trying to get contracts in school, because imagine we create a curriculum, right? Because there's so much bullying, suicide, trauma. We talk about trauma every day. Our kids are carrying so much. But if you guys ever been to our workshop, you'll see it create conversation. I lost my brother. I lost my father. I'm being bullied. I almost took my life. I had a child who looked at our table, and she was only 6 years old, and she was like, is that a bullet? She looked at the bracelet. Is that a bullet? I'm like, well, it used to be a bullet. We took the deadly part of it. She said, oh, because I want to take my life. I'm like, what? She was only 6 years old. She said, because I was going to take my life. I'm like, why? I stopped the world. Everybody had to stop. I don't care who's at my table. Everybody stopped, because a little girl just looked at our table and asked if that was a bullet. And I'm like, yes, it used to be, but it's no longer a bullet. She said, because I want to commit suicide. I'm like, why? She said, because I'm being bullied in school. Right? She said, because I'm being bullied in school. So we stopped the world. I'm gonna tell you guys, we stopped everything. This was a couple years ago, and got her the help that she needed. Her mother wasn't there. She was there with some family member. Her mom knew she was being bullied, but she didn't know how bad she was being bullied. And after that, we made sure that she was good. She was out of that school. She got the help she needed.
Yes.
But the table, the bracelet created a conversation.
That's right.
And awareness that I want to commit suicide, but I was able to talk her out of that and speak life into that. So that's what we do. We are speaking life into a community that is bleeding every day by a bullet. But I'm not doing it alone anymore, you guys, because listen, my walk and my faith is so bigger than I am now, you guys. If y'all look at my page now, y'all look at my book, it's all about God for me now, y'all. Because this work alone. Any more questions?
One thing to say was, I'm about to turn 45, but I still remember my day in school. So I understand the mindset is there's always kids that feel like an outcast, and so they feel like they don't have an outlet to communicate with. Sometimes they're very isolated, and they're left to their own devices, and sometimes that's hard on them themselves. And when they have their peers who are harder on them than their own, that breeds a sense of mental instability where they don't know who to turn to or who to talk to. So I feel the key also is communication amongst the children and amongst the parents and the teachers. Feel a sense of community there where everybody's communicating any type of negative feelings that they have. So where there's no negativity amongst the children. Because once that's breeded, that's where you start to have animosity between the students, and then you don't want that. You don't want them clashing. You want everybody to accept each other for who they are, and to eliminate that the whole idea of, oh, I don't like this person or I don't like that person. Or, you know, you have to be able to breed a feeling of love amongst each other, and that's what's needed in school, because this has been going on for ages. I remember back in the days of school, and that's been going on forever. It's just kids these days, I feel they just don't know how to channel their frustrations.
They really don't, because you know what?
And that's how we will get him. I'm going to get him to volunteer with you. Because he has a lot in him. So you just hold it right there. Hold it right there. You're going to get him to volunteer to go do some good work.
I appreciate that, because you know what? It starts from
He was volunteering for
it starts from, and it also starts from home, right? And a lot of times the kids gonna mirror us adults, because a lot of times our adults, we are so against each other. We're competing against each other. We don't want to collaborate, and there's no competition and collaboration, right? We hate each other. We're mad. This person's doing this person, and especially when we all do the same amazing things. How can we hate each other for that?
Even as adults,
And we all want, right? So it starts from us. And the thing is that we're so against each other, we quick to pick up a gun, right? And hurt each other. So what is our kids doing? Right? What is our kids doing? Every day we angry with each other. We can't drive without somebody cutting us off. You know what I mean? We can't go nowhere. But why are we so? And we are so quick to anger, and that's why we're dying out here.
Well, the other day I was on a bus, and there was a lady who got a fare, and all of a sudden, just the fight breaks out, and all of a sudden, one lady tells the other lady, you know, what you're saying, that's how people end up getting
Killed, yeah.
And I'm looking at this, I'm like, lady, this is over bus fare.
Yeah.
And I'm telling, this is not even worth it.
We don't even value our lives anymore. So if we don't value lives as adults,
People
our
are
kids
just
not
not
doing
thinking
it.
clearly. I mean,
Conversation.
you throw your life away over something.
Conversation.
Yeah.
And the hand fighting was once, but it's no more.
Yeah, she's right. She said the hand. She said, remember when people used to fight with hands?
Oh, I don't know that. Absolutely.
Right? And then you become best friend with that person. Right? After you fight someone, you become cool with them. But now they're shooting and running. Right? They don't even look back because they're coward. They're shooting and they're running, and there's no turning back, because once you listen, having a gun changes everything, right? But pulling that trigger is final. Because let me tell you why having a gun changes everything. Because when you have a gun, right? When you have a gun, your mindset changes, right? Think about it. If you have a gun, you feel you can go. I could go in the hood. I got a gun. Right? I can walk up into anywhere. Right? You feel because you have a gun, you can go everywhere, because your mindset is telling you, I'm good. Right? You feel you bad now because you have a gun.
That's right.
So having a gun changes your mindset if you're not responsible carrier. Right? But if you don't have a gun, you will be like, I'm staying out there. I'm going home. I'm living to see another day. Right? Having a gun, you put your life at risk. And that's what these kids are doing. That's what your children are doing. They feel they have a gun. I can go here. I can go A, B, C, D. But the ones that don't have a gun is taking their butt home. Right? And they don't think like that. So we have to get into their mindset, and it starts from home. I don't care what nobody said, it starts from home. And sometimes, because at home is where it starts, sometimes the moms cannot even handle that child.
Exactly.
It's hard. These kids are so out of control and have no care in the world. The moms, the family cannot always handle the children, but that's why there is help. Right?
And we got to see who's placing them on the fields and in the park so the kids can get home.
Definitely.
Somebody placing them out there.
Somebody putting it out there for our children. Right? Somebody's setting them up. But our kids' mindset is so messed up. All right, Fred, I'm done.
Okay, great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our last speaker today, wonderful lady, great presence in the community. She's an insurance broker, a police dispatcher, mom of a lot of kids, great person, great supporter of Community Collaboration Exchange, which I'm a proud member of, which Ms. Convrne runs. Please let me welcome to share her story for 5 minutes on what she's doing on gun violence. Our last speaker today, Ms. Shakita Days of the Derek Denzel Days Foundation and the Boss Up Visual Foundation and Magazine. Please welcome her up to stage. You're welcome, our last speaker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shakita Days. Full-time, I'm a 911 police dispatcher. I've been doing that for over 21 years. Yes. Part-time, I'm a life insurance agent, and also on top of that, I own my nonprofit, which is Derek Denzel Days II Corporation, along with my husband, Derek Days, which was founded in love and memory after our son that was shot and killed about 15 years ago, December 13, 2008, before Christmas. And that's the reason we started Derek Denzel Days II Corporation, which is named after him. I grew up around violence because I grew up in Liberty City. I'm from Liberty City, and never thought that I would be a victim of gun violence as well. And when it happened to me, that's when it started to matter. And sometimes when things happen, we're kind of silent because it's not happening to us. But until it happens to you, that's when you really feel it. So I knew when my son died, I didn't want my son to be just another statistic.
Right.
Okay, so that was the reason for starting this organization. I didn't want my son's death to be in vain. So if I could take something bad and make it good, and I can touch one family at a time, that was our mission. And not only for the gun violence, for the economic as well. We want to help people become financially stable, help them start businesses, help them how to learn how to earn additional income. Because a lot of the gun violence that's going on today stems from financial issues. So that's why we got to address the issues as well, not just advocate for the gun violence, but come up with the solutions for the problem. So right now we're doing a project. We wrote a book years ago, The Young and Murdered, after our son. And right now we're putting together a film production. And we're soliciting donations for that. Because that's going to be big if we get that project off the ground. And that's going to help us bring money into our community as well, so that we can help assist other organizations that we collaborate with. So basically, about the Medicare issue, I have a great job, I have good insurance, but the insurance is high. Right. So for my family, I pay about $1,000 a month that comes out of my pocket. Yeah, so you know, with all the living expenses, all the things going up, all the things that we have to pay for, that takes a lot out of the pot. So I'm looking forward to seeing some changes in the health insurance as well for everybody overall, and especially for the people that don't have access to it, that we can see change in Florida. Because what I learned about Florida is like, it's a greedy state. Okay, it only cares about the leaders that are up at the top, and they leave the little people at the bottom. But it's time for them to start digging down, and the only way we're going to help that situation is the little people start coming together and advocating. Yes, making some noise so that we can make some changes. So basically, that's my spiel. I do have the Boss Up Visual magazine that is global. So I do tend on putting meetings like this and everything that we do in the community in that magazine, so that magazine goes to everywhere, not just Florida, but it's every state, it's global, it's in countries, it's everywhere. So that's how I'm going to take what we do here and spread it abroad so that we are heard.
All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming. Part 2 is done. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you all, and God bless. Can somebody turn on my phone? Can somebody stop it? Please, we're done. Thank you guys for watching. You're great. We love you. And Camilo's here to talk to you guys about some housing issues if you have it. Ideal's here to talk to you about your concerns with the medical debt for a few minutes. Feel free to ask them. And we're going to close it with a video, which we can't unfortunately film due to copyright music. Thank you. God bless.
Before we do that, I need a couple of people to put their date of birth. I have my name and Walt.
Pastor Isaiah.
Sí.